Hey guys, today we start by deleting the version of you that quits. Picture yourself at dawn. Alarm blaring, heart pounding, and that familiar voice whispering, just 5 more minutes and you roll over, and the day you imagined slips away. Reality check. That weak self has been on autopilot far too long. You're here because small actions, taken relentlessly, compound into massive growth. You're committing to one more step each day, one more push against the urge to stop, and that's where everything turns. You know that voice, the quitter in your head. It's the soft nudge telling you to skip the workout, to lay the project, hide from the challenge. It lives in every excuse. Tomorrow's fine. I'm too tired. I don't have time. That's not weakness, it's habit. And habits can be erased. Right now, you choose to see that voice for what it is, a learned pattern, not your true self. You're about to get brutally honest, because honesty is the first tool in deleting your quitting self. You'll train yourself to replace "I can't" with "I will," to turn hesitation into action. Imagine you're at the edge of a cliff. Your goals on the horizon. The weak you backs away, but the stronger you lean into the wind. You plant your feet, breathe deep, and take the step. That's deletion in motion. Every time you choose to move forward, when your brain screams, "Stop," you delete a bit more of the quitter and write a new line in your story. I don't quit. How do you start? First, catch the lie. Notice when your mind defaults to quitting language. Label it. There's the quitter again. Then refuse its permission slip. You don't argue, you act. If it says, "Not today," you say, "Watch me." And you do one thing. Stand up, stretch, take 3 deep breaths, and launch into your work. That movement breaks the chain. Next, anchor consistency. Pick a micro habit, 5 push-ups, 1 paragraph of writing, 1 minute of focused breath. Do it immediately when you wake. Every kainti, single. That small victory sends a jolt through your identity. I don't bail. Over time, these micro wins add up. The quitter's voice grows faint as you accumulate proof. You show up. You'll also rewrite your environment. Remove triggers that whisper quit, the snooze button, the endless scroll, the TV remote within arm's reach. Replace them with cues for action. Lay out your running shoes. Open a blank document. Set a timer. Make reaching for excuses slightly harder than reaching for effort. Keep a daily log. At night, jot down, "Today, I cut the quitter at 8 a.m. and I deleted it by..." That reflection cements the new neural path. Catch, refuse, act, record. Over days, weeks, you'll look back and see the doorway you've torn through. You can't delete what you don't recognize, and you can't replace what you don't practice. So, practice deletion in real time. When you feel that familiar weight on your chest, label it, breathe through it, and pivot to your micro habit. That step, that minute of effort, is a digital eraser on the old self. Today marks the crash of the quitting empire. You hold the pen and you decide, no more shortcuts, no more hiding. You will refuse to quit even when it stings. Because every time you choose action, you delete a little more of the quitter and unlock a stronger you. You're done hiding from your challenges. You carry the weight of unfinished projects, the silent tension of conversations you've avoided, the nagging guilt of promises broken. That burden isn't fate, it's choice. Adulting isn't about your age or your job title. It's that decisive moment when you stand squarely in responsibility. Look reality in the eye and refuse to turn away. Right now, Pause and tune into that tightness in your chest. That's your cue. You've been running errands on autopilot, letting your to-dos pile up like unread emails. Today, you shift modes. You name the load, reach for a blank note, digital or paper, and write today's ownership. Then list the 3 tasks you've delayed longest. See their names looming on the page, the outline you haven't drafted, the apology you've avoided, the cluttered corner you always skip. Feel that prick of resistance? That's the old you protesting. Welcome it. Don't shrink from it. Naming these tasks does something powerful. It drags them from the shadows and into the light. No more stealth procrastination. You've identified the culprits. Now you're about to lock eyes with them. As you read each bullet aloud, I will finish the outline. I will call and apologize. I will clear that corner. Notice how your tone shifts from vague intention to a concrete commitment. That shift rewires your brain from maybe later to must do now. Next, carve out your battlefield. Open your calendar and claim a full hour within the next waking window, no more than 4 hours away. Label that block, own it, and set an alert 10 minutes before. Silence every other notification so no pings or vibrations can sneak in. This hour belongs to your future self. When the alert sounds, you move without hesitation. No negotiation. You stand, stretch, and step into action. Treat this appointment as if your livelihood depends on it, because in a way, it does. Your growth depends on your follow-through. Before diving in, paint your finish line in vivid detail. By the end of this block, I will have. Complete the sentence with precise outcomes. Sent the complete outline to my editor with clear headings. Spoken sincerely to my friend, apologized, and scheduled a catch-up. Cleared and organized that corner until it's a usable workspace. Every outcome is concrete. No squishy language like made progress or I worked a bit. This level of specificity primes your brain for exactitude, turning vague hope into actionable targets. As you begin, brace for the sting of discomfort. Your mind will scream that you're rushing, that you need more time, that you deserve a break. When that voice rises, thank it. Resistance, I hear you. Then pivot back. I choose action anyway. That simple dialogue, the brief acknowledgement followed by a firm refusal, breaks the autopilot of avoidance and wakes up your decision muscle. If the full hour feels daunting, fragment it into microbursts. Set a 2-minute timer and tackle just the hardest first step, the first sentence of your outline, dialing your friend's number, grabbing a trash bag to clear space. 2 minutes of action is enough to thrust you over inertia's hump. More often than not, once you begin, you'll exceed those 2 minutes naturally because momentum is your ally. Mid-block, pause for a checkpoint. Close your eyes for a breath and rate your progress on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're not above an 8, ask, what one adjustment will shoot me to a 9? Maybe it's clearing a tiny distraction, refocusing on a single bullet point, or silencing your phone completely. Jot that tweak on a sticky note and recommit. This dynamic self-monitoring keeps you adaptive, engaged, and in control. When the hour ends, seal your success. If you've hit your criteria, celebrate with a quick ritual, a 5-second victory dance, a deep exhale, a whispered yes. That celebration imprints success into your neural pathways, making you crave the next win. If you didn't fully cross the line, own it without judgment. I faced this head on, and I reached point X. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., I will complete point Y. That sober self-promise is as powerful as any external deadline. But owning tasks is just the start. True adulting seeps into every area of your life. Look at your body. Have you been skipping meals or grabbing convenience foods? Own it. Schedule your next healthy meal. Prep ingredients and set an alarm to eat mindfully. Scan your finances. Did you dodge budget review? Invite accountability by sharing your target with a partner. Then open your finance app and track last week's spending. Feel the tension in a relationship. Draft your talking points for a hard conversation tonight. Each act of ownership in one domain reinforces your confidence to tackle the next. Your environment either feeds avoidance or fuels progress. Scan your space for saboteurs, the sofa calling your name, the glowing continue watching prompt, the browser tabs that beg distraction. Remove at least one trigger. Stash the remote. Close non-essential tabs. Clear the clutter on your desk. Replace it with a cue for action, a running shoe by the door, a single file open on screen, a notebook front and center. These environmental tweaks make good behavior the path of least resistance. As dusk falls, wrap your day with a reflection ritual. Grab your journal and answer 2 questions. What did I own today? And what tripped me up and what will I adjust tomorrow? Spend no more than 5 minutes. This nightly debrief transforms every battle into data for your next strategy session. Over time, these reflections sharpen your awareness and accelerate your growth. Accountability is your multiplier. Share your Own It plan with a trusted friend or colleague via quick text. Today at 3 p.m. I'm tackling X, holding myself to it. Ask them to check in afterward. That external check creates healthy pressure and reminds you that your commitments matter beyond your own convenience. To cement your progress, track your streak publicly, whether in a group chat, a project board, or a simple shared checklist. Mark each completed Own It block with a mauve. Watch your streak lengthen. That visual proof of consistency ignites your drive and reinforces the identity of someone who follows through. Set milestones and celebrate them. For every 5 consecutive days of fully owned tasks, reward yourself a favorite snack, a short walk in the sun, or a few minutes of uninterrupted hobby time. These small celebrations signal to your brain that ownership isn't punishment. It's a source of joy. Finally, anchor ownership in your identity. Shift your self-talk from, I'm going to try to keep up to, I am someone who follows through. Say it daily, morning and night, until it feels like a fact. Identities drive actions more powerfully than willpower alone. Today, you've seen how radical naming of tasks, scheduled high focus blocks, vivid outcome mapping, embracing discomfort, 2-minute bursts, dynamic checkpoints, nightly debriefs, environment resets, accountability partnerships, streak tracking, milestone celebrations, and identity anchoring turn adulting into a habit, not a chore. Problems cease to be looming shadows. They become discrete challenges you face head on. When morning comes, you won't wake asking, what if? You'll wake declaring, what's next? And you'll move without waiting for a signal. That's how you handle problems like an adult, by owning them fully, coordinating your actions with intention, and refusing to solve them in silence. You're standing at the edge of inertia, toes barely touching the line that separates intention from action. And today, you're going to force yourself into motion. Picture the heavy silence of a blank page, or the cold whip of an untouched task staring you down. Maybe it's the half-finished report sitting in your drafts. Maybe it's the email you promised to send. Maybe it's the workout you keep postponing. That gathering stillness is a magnetic field pulling you away from progress. But you're done dancing with hesitation. You're here to break free, to learn that starting isn't a gift you wait for. It's a skill you build, and you build it right now. First, you name the freeze. As soon as a thought of delay surfaces, I'll get to it later. I need more time. Maybe tomorrow. You pause, close your eyes, and speak it aloud. That's hesitation. Don't argue with it. Don't entertain its excuses. Simply acknowledge its presence. That split-second clarity transforms hesitation from a hidden force into a visible opponent. When you can see it, you can choose not to follow it. Next, you program your body to respond before your mind debates. You choose a single physical cue, a decisive, unmistakable motion that jolts you into readiness. It could be planting your palm firmly on the desk, snapping your fingers, or standing and stretching your arms overhead. You decide now that the moment you speak the words, "Let's start," you perform that cue without thought. Practice it once or twice. Say, "Let's start." Feel your fingertips press into the wood. Sense your spine lengthen as you stretch. Notice how your heart rate ticks up ever so slightly. That's your nervous system receiving an override signal. Act now. When your timer or calendar alert signals it's time, you'll bring that cue into play. Imagine your phone chime at 3:17 p.m. You feel the vibration, your gaze sharpens, and your hand jumps to the desk. Palm thuds, mind shifts. You're no longer debating, you're executing. From this moment forward, every launch begins with that cue. It's your ignition sequence. To make sure doubt doesn't sneak back, you introduce the 5-second countdown. Whenever you feel that itch to delay, you count down out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. By the time you finish one, your body is already moving. Fingers on the keyboard, feet under you, breath deepening. Those numbers interrupt the mental loop before self-sabotage can set in. You're flipping a switch, replacing analysis with action. But you won't rely on momentary inspiration. Instead, you schedule precise start times. Vague intentions like, "Work on that project this afternoon," die in the midday lull. You open your calendar and block a specific moment, say 2:42 p.m., and label it Begin Report Draft. No question marks, no qualifiers. When that time arrives, you treat it like a high-stakes meeting with an important client. You're there on the dot, ready to execute. That precision slams the door on uncertainty. Before the moment arrives, you clear away friction. The night before or an hour prior, you prepare your environment. If it's writing, you open a fresh document with the cursor blinking on line 1. You collapse every extraneous tab, leaving only the reference material you'll need. You silence non-essential notifications. If it's a workout, you lay out your clothes, shoes side by side, water bottle filled. If it's a conversation you've been avoiding, you queue up the contact's number, jot down 3 bullet points of what you need to say. All of these ritual steps happen minutes before launch, so that when the alert chimes, all you see is a clear path from cue to action. You know that even with planning, the first second can be the hardest, so you embrace micro-commitments. While you tell yourself, "I'll work for just 60 seconds. That tiny promise disarms the inner critic. You set a simple timer, or digital or mental, and focus on the single smallest action. Writing the title, dialing the number, stepping onto the mat. More often than not, you'll exceed that 1 minute, because beginning is its own reward. To keep things exciting, you transform launching into a personal game. You challenge yourself. Can I type the first 100 words before the 1-minute timer dings? Or can I don my running shoes in under 7 seconds? You track these feats in a spreadsheet or a quick journal. As the days pass, you watch your best times drop, and that friendly competition with your past self electrifies the process. Starting stops being a chore. It becomes a mini victory you crave. Sometimes mental energy feels flat. When that happens, You prime yourself with physical momentum. Should you stand up, do 3 sun salutations, or simply briskly walk around your space for 20 paces? That shift of posture thrums through your body, clearing the haze. Then, before doubt can reattach itself, you return and hit your launch trigger. By coupling physical movement with mental intent, you create a cascade of momentum that carries straight into the task. I urge you to harness a now or never mindset before you begin. Take a brief mental snapshot. Imagine the regret of not starting, the blank page mocking you tomorrow, the deadline slipping further away, the quiet self-judgment that builds like static in your mind. Then flip that image to a future where you began on time. You're a few paragraphs in. The words flow. You feel the satisfaction of momentum humming through your veins. That stark contrast lights a wildfire under your will. You're not alone in this. Leverage accountability nudges by telling a friend or colleague your exact plan. I start my presentation at 4:08 p.m. You declare. Ask them to ping you 5 minutes before. That external check bypasses your internal debates. It's harder to stall when someone else is watching, even if only for a brief text. Beware overplanning, the insidious twin of hesitation. You don't need an elaborate checklist before you begin. Commit to exactly one preparation step: opening the file, loading your music, retrieving your notes. Then execute your launch cue. That discipline starves overthinking of the oxygen it needs to linger. Knowing you have an off-ramp makes starting easier. That's why you define preset stop points. You schedule end draft in 20 minutes or pause call after 5 minutes. When your brain senses a guaranteed finish line, it relaxes enough to leap. And once you're in flow, you often choose to extend beyond your stop marker, because flow breeds its own momentum. You measure your success not just by what you accomplish, but by how swiftly you begin. Keep a simple launch latency log. Note the seconds or minutes between your scheduled start time and your actual first keystroke. Even a 2-minute delay is valuable data. Over weeks, you'll watch that number shrink, and with each downward shift, you'll feel the pride of hacking your own habits. When you launch exactly on cue, don't just proceed, celebrate. Give yourself a brief victory ritual, a pumped fist, a deep inhale with arms raised, a whispered yees. That immediate positive reinforcement sears the behavior into your brain. Starting on time becomes a source of pleasure, not pain. You're building towards something bigger. Invoke your future self's voice by speaking to the stronger you who already performed the task. I do this for the capable, the focused person I am becoming. That self-dialogue knits together present moments and future identity, so each start feels less like a forced chore and more like fulfilling a vital promise. Finally, you refine your launch system through reflection. At the end of your work block, spend 3 minutes capturing insights. My launch latency was X. The tactic that helped most was Y. Use those notes to tweak your sequence, perhaps a different trigger, an earlier accountability ping, or a shorter micro-commitment. You are the scientist of your own productivity, iterating until launch becomes effortless. Today, you choose one task you've been circling: writing that critical email, drafting that chapter, logging those expenses. You schedule its start time, prepare your environment, select your launch cue, set your countdown, and dive in. You'll log your launch latency and reward yourself for immediate action. Then you'll feel it, that first thrum of momentum turning into sustained drive, inertia melting away beneath your feet. By mastering these seamless integrated launch techniques, naming hesitation, anchoring physical cues, counting down, precise scheduling, environment prep, micro-commitments, gamification, accountability, and reflection, You eliminate starting from the realm of hope and place it firmly in the domain of habit. Hesitation shrinks, momentum grows. Each forced launch reverberates through your day, turning every moment of doubt into a stepping stone toward progress. This is how you break through inertia and become unstoppable. You're no longer at the mercy of mood or motivation. You're the architect of your own beginnings. And once you practice starting in this way, you'll discover that the hardest part, motion, has become almost automatic because you programmed it that way. You've tested your limits, smashed inertia, and owned your challenges, and now you face comfort itself. The silent saboteur that whispers just this once while it robs you of your future. Comfort feels like a soft bed on a cold morning, a warm couch and endless scroll, a familiar excuse dressed in cozy pajamas. You know its appeal, the momentary pleasure, the absence of struggle, the soothing lull of everything's fine. But comfort is a gilded cage, its bars disguised as cushions. Today, you learn to say no to comfort and mean it, because your growth lives on the other side of that no. You begin by spotting comfort's call. It arrives subtly, a beckoning thought when your alarm rings, a flicker of just 5 more minutes after a late night, a craving for junk food instead of a nourishing meal. It masquerades as self-care, painting avoidance in pastel colors. When that urge surfaces, you catch it mid-sentence. That, right there, is the lure of comfort. By naming its first breath, you expose its true intent to keep you small. Imagine comfort as a magnet pulling you backward. Day after day, each concession, sleeping in instead of running, grabbing chips instead of cooking, binging TV instead of building your skill, tugs you off track. You might chalk it up to balance or treating yourself. But each treat is an anchor chaining you to yesterday's version of yourself. You deserve better, a future forged by deliberate discomfort, where each intentional no sends you forward. Make your first stand with a verbal refusal. The next time your mind suggests comfort, you speak aloud. Not today. Feel the firmness in your tone, the way your lungs compress and expand with resolve. That 2-word declaration is your shield. It halts the comfort impulse mid-stride, buying you a precious moment to choose your growth instead. But words alone aren't enough. You follow your not today with immediate action, something small yet defiant. If your mind screams, skip the workout, you push out of bed, slam your feet into your running shoes, and step onto the pavement. If it teases, order takeout, you lace up your apron and chop vegetables. If it pleads, watch just one more episode. You close the laptop and open your journal. That instant pivot transforms your refusal into reality, training your body to honor your words. Comfort often strikes hardest in the mornings and evenings, those hours when your willpower dips low and your brain craves ease. So you build keystone no rituals at those exact moments. At dawn, your alarm greets you. You resist the snooze button by placing it across the room. You force yourself upright to silence the alarm, and you immediately splash water on your face. That cold shock punctures comfort's bubble. You follow it with an invigorating stretch or a brisk walk to signal. Discomfort is your new routine. Similarly, at night, when your brain lobbies for mindless scrolling, you set a strict cutoff. No screens after 9 p.m. You place your phone in another room and replace it with a book or a gratitude journal. The first time it feels strange, your thumb twitching for notifications, but you stand firm, savoring the novelty of silence. Each night, you stick to this non-negotiable boundary. You weaken comfort's grip, rewiring your habits toward restorative rest instead of flickering screens. In mealtimes, comfort disguises itself as cravings. It entices you with fast food, sugary snacks, and empty calories. Quick fixes that light up your brain's pleasure centers but leave you sluggish and unfocused. When hunger strikes, you pause and ask yourself, do I choose momentary pleasure or sustained energy? That question is your fork in the road. Then you prepare a nourishing alternative: grilled veggies, a lean protein, a balanced smoothie, embracing the brief discomfort of cooking or planning instead of sinking into the trap of delivery apps. Comfort's final frontier is your mind. It whispers self-indulgent thoughts. You deserve a break. You've done enough today? You'll start fresh tomorrow. While occasional rest is vital, these thoughts often cloak procrastination. When you hear them, you evaluate. Have you truly met your targets? Or are you rationalizing escape? If your day's ownership list still glows with unchecked tasks, you push through. You replace "I'm tired" with "I'm committed," and you open your notebook or document. That mental veto over comfort becomes a superpower. It lets you distinguish real need for rest from the comfort trap. To cement your no to comfort stance, you create a comfort blacklist, a short list of specific temptations you banish for a defined period. It might include social media apps, television series, late-night snacking, or streaming services. You uninstall the apps, unsubscribe from newsletters, and remove snacks from sight. In their place, you install intentional alternatives: a meditation app, a workout playlist, healthy snacks in resealable containers, or a recorded audiobook on personal growth. By restructuring your environment, you make comfort harder to reach and growth easier to embrace. Yet you don't wage this battle alone. You form a comfort defense pact with an accountability partner, friend, family member, or colleague. You share your blacklist, your keystone and no rituals, and your goals. You agree to daily check-ins, a brief morning message confirming your alarm ritual, an evening text reporting your screen-off success. That shared commitment multiplies your resolve, because comfort is easier to resist when you know someone else is watching, rooting for you, and counting on your follow-through. Even with these measures, slip-ups happen. You'll wake up late, skip the ritual, and feel the familiar pull of sheets that still feel warm. You'll cave to a craving or indulge in one too many episodes. But each slip is data, not defeat. You don't berate yourself, you analyze. Where did your system break down? Was your alarm across the room? Did you unmute notifications? Did you leave a snack within arm's reach? You fix the vulnerability, adjust your ritual, and try again. This scientific approach, test, fail, iterate, sharpens your defenses against comfort's insidious creep. As you accumulate daily victories, morning rituals executed, screen-free evenings honored, wholesome meals chosen, you notice a cascade of benefits. Your energy climbs, your focus deepens, your self-respect swells. Each no to comfort echoes louder than any momentary yes. You find you need far less persuasion to wake early, eat well, or work strongly, because those choices have become your default identity. Someone who honors commitment over convenience. Imagine 1 week from now. You've performed your morning ritual 7 times. You've had 7 nights of undistracted rest. You've prepared 7 healthy meals. And you've declined comfort's call with unwavering determination. That week shapes you more than any fleeting spurt of motivation. You no longer view discomfort as a temporary hurdle. You recognize it as the doorway to progress. Comfort feels foreign, almost indulgent in its place. You crave the quiet burn of disciplined action. So today, you draft your comfort blacklist. Place your alarms strategically, clear your pantry of temptations, and map out your keystone no rituals. You call your accountability partner and seal your pact. Then you speak your verbal refusal one final time. Not today. You feel the resolve tighten in your chest. And when tomorrow's temptation arrives, be it a soft pillow, a glowing screen, or the scent of takeout, you won't negotiate. You'll simply pause, breathe, and say those words again, turning your refusal into your most powerful habit. That habit, forged in the quiet refusal of comfort, becomes your compass. It points you away from stagnation and toward growth. Each no is a claim staked on your future potential. And with every passing day, you'll see how far a single word, no, can carry you when you mean it completely. You've stood up to inertia, shattered hesitation, and refused comfort. And now it's time to choose what's right over what feels easy. This is the crucible where your character is forged. Doing the hard thing, even when it hurts. Every time you opt for integrity over ease, you plant a seed of self-trust that grows into an unshakable foundation. Today, you learn to lean into the discomfort of doing what matters, because that's how you become the person you say you want to be. Imagine a fork in the road. One path is smooth, shaded, and lined with soft grass, tempting you with ease and immediate pleasure. The other is rocky, uphill, and strewn with obstacles, but it leads to a summit with a view unlike any other. Comfort invites you to turn onto the easy road. Integrity calls you to climb. You know which view you'd rather wake up to tomorrow. So you steel your resolve, square your shoulders, and step onto the rocky climb, each footfall echoing your commitment to do what's right. First, you recognize that doing what's right isn't reserved for grand gestures. It manifests in the everyday decisions that add up, sending that difficult email, honoring your workout even when your body protests, speaking up when silence feels safer, showing up on time when nobody else is watching. Each of these moments is a micro-battle where you choose principle over pleasure. They may seem small, but they compound into an identity you wear like armor. When the moment arrives, when you face a choice between right and easy, you pause and frame a challenge to your inner voice. If your mind whispers, "Take the day off," you counter, "I will honor my commitment." If a temptation calls you to skip your practice, you declare, "My word means more than my comfort." That internal challenge, spoken with conviction, flips your brain's reward system. You begin to crave the satisfaction of integrity more than the fleeting relief of ease. To make this choice automatic, you embed right action cues into your day. If you want to be the person who never breaks a promise to yourself, you schedule promised action slots, non-negotiable blocks where you fulfill any outstanding commitment, no matter how small. Maybe it's a 5-minute phone call, a page of journaling, or a set of stretches. You treat promised action slots like sacred appointments. Missing one is unthinkable. Over time, these slots reinforce a neural pathway. Integrity leads to reward, but even with planning, the hardest moment is the initial step. You'll feel resistance in your chest, a tightening in your throat, 1,000 reasons to delay. In that split second, you harness the power of face-first commitment. You remove the option to back out by prepaying your word. You tell a friend, post publicly, or set a small financial stake, whatever it takes to raise the stakes. By making your promise visible and binding, you transform internal resolve into external accountability. Next, you practice truth in action check-ins every afternoon. At a set time, say in 3 p.m., you look at your calendar or to-do list and ask, which of today's actions have I avoided? and which have I honored? You don't give yourself a pass for intending to. You measure only completed actions. You write down one completion and one omission. No judgment, just facts. Then you immediately act on the omission. You call, you draft, you enact. That instant correction cements your commitment to truth over false comfort. Speaking of comfort, temptation will always dress itself up as self-care. When you feel the need for a break, you learn to differentiate genuine rest from an excuse to avoid growth. You adopt the energy audit ritual. Whenever you crave a pause, you spend 30 seconds evaluating your energy levels. If you're truly depleted, mind foggy, muscles heavy, you take a restorative break, deep breathing, a quick walk, or a power nap. But if you're simply avoiding effort, you speak your truth. I'm not tired. I'm avoiding, and you return to action. That clarity stops you from conflating laziness with self-care. Your values, those principles you say define you, must transform from words on a page into non-negotiable commands. To solidify this, you create a values declaration, a short, powerful statement like, I honor my word, I embrace challenge, and I choose growth. You read this declaration aloud each morning, feeling the vibration of each word in your chest. By vocalizing your values, you awaken a sense of duty that outlives fleeting emotions. Conflict often arises in relationships. Delicate moments when doing what's right means saying something hard. You'll feel the urge to avoid discomfort, to let the moment pass. Instead, you prepare and practice courage conversations. Umurdi. You rehearse your opening lines, you choose your tone, and you anticipate objections. When the time comes, you lean into vulnerability. You speak calmly, you listen actively, and you stay rooted in your intention to serve the relationship, not to win an argument. These courageous acts deepen trust and align your actions with your values. Professional integrity shows up in how you handle mistakes. When you slip, miss a deadline, overlook an error, you resist the impulse to hide or spin. You own the mistake immediately. You inform stakeholders, you offer solutions, and you learn the lesson. Each admission of fault reinforces your commitment to integrity more strongly than any success. Fear of shame fades when you see that honesty breeds respect and opens doors rather than closing them. As you build this pattern, you also cultivate integrity allies in your community. You identify a few peers who share your dedication to doing what's right, and you form a brief integrity circle. You meet weekly, briefly, to declare your top integrity challenge for the week and report on your follow-through. That collective witness creates a ripple of accountability and fosters an environment where integrity becomes the group's currency. Every Friday, you conduct an integrity inventory. You take 15 minutes to review your journal, your calendar, your completed tasks, and your values declaration. You ask, where did I choose ease over right? Where did I honor my highest values? You don't seek perfection. You seek truth and growth. You celebrate each victory, even the small ones, and you commit to recalibrating any missteps. This weekly ritual sharpens your focus and ensures that doing what's right remains central. Meanwhile, you begin tracking integrity wins alongside traditional productivity metrics. You record not just tasks completed, but obstacles overcome. The tough email sent, the honest conversation held, the moment you chose rest only when it was real rest. Each win enters your log and receives a moment of celebration. A silent fist pump or a whispered affirmation. These integrity wins fuel your self-respect like rocket fuel. You'll discover that as you practice these habits, your self-image shifts. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries and falls short. You become someone who follows through. You stop asking, "Will I?" and instead ask, "When did I?" That linguistic shift cements your belief in your own reliability. Challenges will arise, a tempting detour, an unforeseen obstacle, a dip in motivation. In those moments, you return to your core, your values declaration, your integrity circle, your integrity inventory. You remind yourself that doing what's right isn't a one-time act, but a lifelong commitment. Each choice, however small, is an opportunity to reinforce your identity. And as your days fill with these victories, you'll notice that doing what's right, even when it hurts, becomes the path of least resistance. The initial sting fades, replaced by the hum of alignment. You crave the clarity that integrity brings, the quiet confidence of knowing your actions match your values. Temptation loses its luster because it cannot compete with the deep satisfaction of self-respect. Picture yourself months from now. Each morning you wake, you read your values declaration and feel an electric tingle of purpose. You move through your day, sharp and unwavering, tackling difficult conversations and stretching tasks with the same unwavering resolve. At night, your integrity inventory shows a ledger rich with wins, and you drift to sleep, knowing you honored your highest calling. That future self is within your reach now, because every time you choose right over easy, you walk one step in their direction. The mountain you climb is steep, but each handhold, each moment of integrity, is rock solid. You will stand on that summit, survey the miles you've covered, and realize the view was worth every arduous step. So today, you identify the one choice you've been avoiding. Perhaps it's an honest conversation, a challenging project, or a difficult boundary. You prepare your courage conversation or promised action slot. You call your integrity ally. You settle on your values declaration, and you step forward. When discomfort knocks, you answer with conviction. I choose right. And with that single word, you power your climb, forging character and unlocking the person you were meant to become. You've mastered action, ownership, discomfort, and integrity. And now a new gauntlet appears, the relentless storm of weak thoughts raging inside your mind. Those insidious whispers, "You can't," "Not good enough," "What's the point?" are the last stronghold of your old self. And if you let them run free, they will sabotage every victory you've carved out so far. But here's the truth. Those thoughts are lies wearing familiar clothes. They only have power when you believe them. Today, you learn to recognize them instantly, shut them down without mercy, and replace them with a voice that champions your strength. Start by imagining your mind as a meeting room where every thought gets a seat at the table. Weak thoughts rush in, raising their hands, clamoring for attention. "You're too tired," one says. "You're not smart enough." Another declares, "This isn't worth it." A third complains. You wouldn't sit in a boardroom and let hostile voices draft your strategy. So why accept them in your head? You're the chairperson of this meeting, and you have the authority to eject any thought that doesn't serve your highest goals. The moment you feel a pang of doubt or hear a whisper of fear, you pause and name it. You don't debate internally. You simply speak the thought's name aloud. There goes, "I can't." That naming is powerful. By bringing the thought into the open, you remove its camouflage. Weak thoughts thrive in darkness. Exposing them to daylight strips away their authority. You'll do this every single time. Sense the doubt. Halt the runaway train of negativity. Articulate the thought, and then move to expulsion. Expulsion takes a simple but fierce form. You follow your labeling with an automatic override, a replacement phrase stamped in your mind with precision, where "I can't" once lived. You inject, "I will figure it out." Where "I'm not good enough" threatened, you plant, "I learn and improve every day." Each override phrase is short, punchy, and anchored to action. Choose one for each category of doubt you face and commit them to memory. They are your mental antidotes, your emotional vaccines against defeat. To accelerate this process, you create a weak thought alarm in your body. Pick a physical cue that corresponds to naming and shutting down the doubt. Perhaps a brief tightening of your fists, a tap on your wrist, or a single, forceful exhale through pursed lips. When you identify a weak thought, you perform that physical cue simultaneously with your override phrase. The cue and phrase together forge a muscle memory that links doubt detection with immediate shutdown and reprogramming. You don't leave weak thoughts to drift for minutes or hours. You attack in real time. If "this is too hard" surfaces while you're working, you stop, label it, cue your override, and press on. You don't bury your head. You confront the thought like a stubborn stain. Label it, treat it, and wipe it clean. This unglamorous but necessary ritual becomes your daily mental hygiene. But some doubts linger longer than others. Old stories woven from past failures, shame, or regret. To uproot these deeply anchored beliefs, you conduct a mind audit each evening. You carve out 10 focused minutes, open your journal to a blank page, and write down every persistent thought that has held you back that day. List them without censoring. "I'm not creative. I'm not as good as them. I'll never finish." This raw inventory is your microscope on the battlefield. With those lies laid bare in ink, they lose their secrecy and begin to dissolve. Next, you challenge each belief with evidence from your own life. For every negative statement, you write a counterexample. "I have overcome obstacles before. I have produced valuable work. I have proven my resilience." You don't need a laundry list. 1 or 2 concrete memories for each lie suffice. That process of pairing doubt with proof rewrites your mental code. It's no longer an abstract "I can't." It becomes "I can because I have." Once you've paired every doubt with evidence, you seal the triumph with a brief affirmation practice. You read each truth you've recorded aloud, slowly and deliberately. "I have overcome obstacles. My work has value. I prove my resilience every day." You feel the vibration of each phrase in your chest. These aren't fluffy mantras. They are documented facts from your own history, transformed into verbal bullets that blast away the ghosts of doubt. In the heat of the day, you deploy mini thought drills to keep your override system sharp. Whenever you pause for a break or feel mental drag, you spend 60 seconds naming any weak thought that surfaces, cueing your physical signal, and firing off your override phrase. You don't need a pen or a journal. This is a rapid-fire mental set that keeps your thought muscles trained. Over time, these drills rewire your neural pathways so thoroughly that identifying and replacing negative thoughts becomes almost reflexive. Your environment plays a critical role in this war for your mind. Thoughts feed on inputs: the books you read, the conversations you eavesdrop on, the media you consume. You reinforce your mental fortitude by curating nothing but constructive influences. You select podcasts that champion resilience, magazines that showcase innovation, friends whose language uplifts. When you encounter casual complaining or mindless scrolling, you shut it down, physically by leaving the room, mentally by labeling it as unproductive noise. You protect your inner space so that weak thoughts have no fertile ground. But you go further than avoidance. You proactively surround yourself with thought reinforcements. You place post-it notes on your monitor or mirror with terse reminders. Name it, replace it. Thought may record data, not destiny. You decide what you believe. These cues pop into your vision intermittently, preventing stale mental loops from re-emerging. Visual reminders invite you to check your mental filters multiple times per day to escalate accountability. You share your thought management strategy with a trusted ally, your mind partner. You explain the labeling method, the override phrases, and the nightly mind audit. You agree to brief daily check-ins, a quick text exchange where you report any stealth doubts that popped up and how you handled them. That shared vigilance multiplies your resolve, because weak thoughts thrive on secrecy. Shining a spotlight on them in collaboration suffocates their survival. You also formalize a thought warranty. For every week you go without letting a particular doubt linger, say the old "I'm not creative" story, you grant yourself a small reward. Your favorite snack? 5 extra minutes of leisure? Or a brisk walk in the sun? Each week, you extend your warranty period, reinforcing the belief that you are, in fact, creative and full of ideas. This gamified approach turns mind management into a motivational feedback loop rather than a chore. Yet, you know perfection is impossible. Weak thoughts will slip in occasionally when they surface in full force. You have a rescue ritual: light movement plus intense focus. You stand, take 3 deep grounding breaths, then engage in a rapid 2-minute task that demands concentration. Solving a puzzle, doing jumping jacks, sketching a quick diagram. That break shatters the spiral of negativity. When you return to work, your mind is reset, and any lingering doubts lack the momentum to pull you down. Beyond these tactics, you cultivate a mindset of curiosity towards your thoughts. You observe them as if you're an explorer mapping a new territory. No judgment, just fascination. What triggers them? What patterns emerge? You record these insights in your journal weekly, shading categories of thoughts and noting their habitual contexts. That deepens your self-awareness and empowers you to preemptively adjust your strategy when you recognize the terrain of your mind shifting. As you progress, you notice a shift in language. You stop saying, "I'm trying," because trying implies the possibility of giving up. You start saying, "I'm doing," because doing leaves no exit door. You stop referring to your thoughts as good or bad. You see them as signals that guide you toward what needs attention. That semantic shift cements a new mental culture where you lead your thoughts instead of reacting to them. Month by month, you build a mental fortress. Doubts still knock on the gates, but they are answered with swift labeling, powerful overrides. The consistent rituals of journaling, drills, and accountability. Over time, the storm of weak thoughts subsides into occasional clouds, no longer a permanent state of mind. When negativity tries to mount a comeback, you simply murmur the phrase that silences it: "I will figure it out," and return to the bright clarity of action. You'll find that, as you clear away these mental weeds, your productivity blooms, your creativity flows, and your resilience deepens. Projects you once abandoned midstream now reach completion. Challenging conversations become opportunities rather than threats. Your goals feel less like distant stars and more like reachable waypoints. Picture your mind 6 months from today, no longer a battleground littered with doubt, but a fertile field where your strongest beliefs, belief in your capability, belief in your dedication, take root and grow. You wake each morning with the confidence that when a fleeting negative thought tries to move in, you have the tools to show it the door. And as that inner landscape clears, you step into each day unburdened, fully present, and unafraid. All of this begins with a single moment of recognition, catching that first whisper of "I can't," and choosing to say, not here. You have mapped out the steps. Label it, cue it, override it, journal it, share it. Now you only need to practice, relentlessly and without pause, until your mind becomes your staunchest ally rather than your fiercest foe. Today, you resolve to catch every weak thought as it appears. You ready your override phrases. You set your mind audit reminder for tonight. You send your mind partner a message to seal your pact. And when tomorrow's doubts arise, whispering in your ear, you will shine a light so bright that those weak thoughts have nowhere to hide. You will be the unwavering observer and the decisive executor. And in that union lies your unstoppable mental strength. You wake to a world that doesn't care whether you feel motivated or not. Your to-do list stretches across your vision like a marathon track you haven't laced up for. Maybe yesterday you felt a spark, but today the ember is cold. That's precisely the day you learn to pick yourself up without motivation. Because motivation is fickle. It arrives unannounced and disappears just as quickly. But discipline thrives on routine, habit, and choice. Today you learn to move even when inspiration is nowhere in sight. Imagine a runner waiting at the starting line, but the gun never fires. The spectators linger in silence, watching for the signal that may never come. You are that runner, and motivation is the gun. But instead of waiting, you decide to start your own race. You plant your feet, lean forward, and launch yourself into motion. That first step, no matter how small, triggers a cascade of progress that carries you forward, independent of any outside spark. Begin by acknowledging your current state. Feel the fog in your chest, the heaviness in your limbs, the mental static that whispers, "Not today." Label it. That's lack of motivation. Don't judge it. Simply note its presence. That act of recognition is your pivot point. You're no longer its passive victim. You're the observer in command. Next, you create a micro-action ritual, a tiny, unstoppable habit that becomes your go button. Choose one simple task that takes less than 2 minutes. Open your laptop and type a single sentence. Put on your running shoes and step outside. Draw a swift sketch or write a brief journal line. It doesn't matter what it is, only that it's so small that resistance cannot mount. You place this ritual at the start of whatever you need to accomplish. When your body or mind cries, "Not now," you counter, "I will do 2 minutes." That tiny commitment disarms the objections and flips your system into motion mode. You practice this micro-action every single morning at your chosen start time. It becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. You move before you think. Over days, you find yourself surpassing the 2 minutes because once you begin, your momentum builds. You discover that motivation often arrives mid-task, fueled by the simple act of starting. But what about tasks you dread deeply? Difficult conversations, technical projects, or creative work you fear will flounder? You scale your ritual even smaller, down to just one physical gesture, pressing your finger to the spacebar, clicking New Document, or pulling the first tool from your toolkit. You train yourself until that gesture and the act of beginning merge into one reflex. Motivation becomes unnecessary because the physical cue triggers automatic engagement. To sustain yourself beyond that initial push, you learn to harness environmental nudges. You prime your workspace the night before. Desk cleared, materials laid out, a single sticky note with your priority in bold ink. The moment you enter the room or sit at the desk, your eyes land on that visual cue. You don't need motivational pep talks. Your environment speaks for you. That silent prompt, combined with your micro-action, creates a seamless launch sequence that cuts through the inertia of feeling unmotivated. Yet even micro-actions can feel hollow if separated from purpose. So you connect each start to your deeper why. You craft a concise purpose reminder, a brief, powerful phrase that captures the reason you're doing this work. It could be, build my future, serve my passion, or honor my promise. You place that reminder beside your cue, on the sticky note, on your screen background, engraved on a bracelet. When you initiate your micro-action, you speak your purpose reminder softly, aligning the physical launch with the emotional driver. That fusion of action and meaning amplifies momentum and sustains you when motivation flags. You also recognize the value of leveraging existing routines. If you already have an unshakable habit, morning coffee, brushing your teeth, or a daily walk, you stack your micro-action onto it. 10 seconds after your first sip, you open your document. 1 breath after you finish brushing, you record a bullet in your journal. By piggybacking new starts onto established routines, you bypass the need for motivation entirely. Habit stacking ensures your discipline rides on the coattails of your strongest behaviors. But what about days when even micro-actions feel heavy? When your energy crater feels bottomless, you turn to the 5-minute rescue. You set a timer for 5 minutes and commit to working with everything you've got in that window. You don't close down because the time is short. Instead, you focus intensely, ignoring quality and depth. Your only objective is sustained effort. When the timer chimes, you often surprise yourself by continuing. You realize that the hard part wasn't the effort itself, but the reluctance to begin. And by forcing yourself through that first 5 minutes, you find your stride. You also cultivate a network of motivation magnets, people, podcasts, articles, or playlists that inject energy when you're running low. You maintain a short, curated list of these magnets and turn to one only after you've done your micro-action. That way, you don't use external stimuli as a crutch to start, but as a supplement once you've already begun. You listen to the upbeat track while you continue drafting. Or you read the inspiring article mid-flow, reinforcing your momentum rather than creating a false start. To reinforce your discipline, you implement accountability micro-rituals. You choose a partner, friend, colleague, or coach, and agree on a simple daily check, a text or emoji after you complete your micro-action. No lengthy reports, only a brief signal. Done. That signal becomes a badge of honor, a tiny social contract that bolsters your commitment. Knowing someone is waiting for your done nudges you to execute even when your own motivation is AWOL. Yet you don't dismiss the physiological roots of motivation. You adopt an energy optimization routine. Adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, hydration, and movement throughout the day. You test how a glass of water, a 5-minute stretch break, or a quick walk influences your willingness to start. You log these experiments, noting which adjustments give you the extra spark needed to launch. This proactive self-care doesn't guarantee motivation, but it ensures your system is primed to respond when you trigger your micro-actions. You also practice morning zero requests. For the first 15 minutes after waking, you refuse to check email, social media, or news. Instead, you execute your micro-action ritual and read your purpose reminder. By insulating your brain from the avalanche of external demands, you preserve mental clarity and discipline, allowing you to start with focus rather than scatter. Throughout the day, you remain vigilant for the creeping belief that you'll feel like it soon. When that thought surfaces, you intervene. You count, i.e. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Perform your launch cue and work your micro-action. That rapid refocus, combining countdown, cue, and micro-commitment, short circuits the habituation of procrastination In the afternoons, when energy dips are most common, you establish brief refuel rituals. You set a timer for a 2-minute breathing exercise, a hydration break, or a brisk walk outside. You combine that ritual with a swift micro-action back to your priority task. 2 sentences, 2 coding lines, or 2 phone calls. You link the refuel to the restart, ensuring that dips in motivation become opportunities for re-engagement instead of excuses for stalls. When the day winds down, you close with a progress capture ritual. You record 1 sentence in your journal. Today I started by, and note the specific micro-action you executed. You reflect on how many times motivation tried to betray you, and how many times you overcame it. That reflection cements your identity as someone who moves first and thinks later. You reinforce your progress by tracking streaks. You mark each day you complete your micro-action ritual on a calendar or tracker app. You watch the chain grow, a visible testament to your discipline that feels almost sacred to break. Each day you add another link. You feel a twinge of satisfaction knowing you didn't rely on motivation. You relied on proven systems. As days turn into weeks, you notice a shift. The initial dread evaporates. When you wake, your hand reaches for the micro-action without a thought. You no longer even consider whether you feel motivated. The habit has taken over. You spend far less energy debating and far more energy doing. In those moments, you realize that waiting for motivation was a lie. Progress is born from the quiet persistence of showing up. Imagine 1 month from now. Your streak sits at 30 days. You've written daily, moved daily, learned daily, regardless of how you felt. Motivation became an afterthought, not a prerequisite. You stand taller, speak clearer, and live more fully because your discipline has liberated you from the tyranny of mood. You don't do what feels good. You do what matters. That future is within reach now. No motivational pep talk needed. You have your micro-action ritual, your launch cue, your purpose reminder, your accountability check, and your energy optimization routine. All that remains is your commitment to practice, day after day, moment after moment, until starting without motivation is as natural as breathing. Today, choose one priority you've been waiting on. At your chosen start time, perform your micro-action ritual, 2 minutes of focused work. Open your environment, align with your purpose, and dive in. Log your completion. Send your accountability signal, and feel the quiet power of discipline. You have no guarantee of feeling motivated, but you have the certainty of a system that compels you to move anyway. And that system is your new superpower. You've learned to start without permission and to choose right over easy. Now you face the primal force that lurks beneath motivation's flicker and hassle's hiss, the fear of effort itself. That ancient whisper insists that work equals pain. That struggle means something is wrong. That pain forecasts failure. It coils in your chest and murmurs, "Better not try, it might hurt too much." But here's the secret. Effort is not the enemy. It's the doorway to strength, the crucible of growth, and the very essence of transformation. Today, you will confront your fear of effort head-on, dismantling its false narrative and harnessing its power to propel you forward. Picture a child at the edge of a playground climbing frame, hesitating because the first rung feels too high. The adult inside them shrinks, sees obstacles, imagines scraped knees. Yet with a gentle nudge, they grasp that rung and pull themselves up, discovering not pain, but exhilaration. That child and adult are both you. The part of you that fears effort and the part of you that thrives on challenge. It's time to reintegrate those selves, to embrace the script that effort brings reward. Discomfort births expansion, and every ounce of exertion builds muscle, physical, mental, and emotional. Begin by reframing effort as information, not punishment. When you face a daunting project or a strenuous workout, observe the sensation, the quiver in your arms, the gasp in your lungs, the sweat on your brow. Label it data. Say to yourself, this is information about my current capacity. With that neutral stance, you cease to judge effort as inherently bad. Instead, you see it as feedback on what you can improve. Effort becomes a dialogue. Each rep, each paragraph, each moment of discomfort tells you where to push harder, where to adjust technique, where to honor recovery. You transform pain from an obstacle into a teacher. To internalize this mindset, you adopt the effort experiment. All at the start of every new challenge, you commit to one controlled trial. Push into the discomfort for a fixed, manageable amount. 5 minutes of deep work, 10 push-ups, or a 2-page draft. You measure how your body and mind respond. Did your pulse spike? Did your thoughts race? Did your focus sharpen or scatter? You capture these observations in a brief note. That process trains you to treat effort like a scientist treats a lab test, with curiosity and without fear. Next, you create a challenge ladder, a graduated series of tasks that escalate in effort. Each one just beyond your current proficiency. If you're learning to code, maybe you solve a simple logic problem, then a slightly more complex bug fix, then a small feature implementation. If you're building endurance, you walk a mile, then jog 2, then run 3, and so on. By ascending this ladder step by step, you normalize discomfort as a regular sensation that signals progress. You see that your body and brain adapt quickly, making the next rung feel less intimidating. Over time, you zap the fear that told you effort equals danger. But real transformation requires more than rational frameworks. It demands stories that resonate. So you keep an effort journal. Each time you tackle a rung on your challenge ladder, you record what the effort felt like before, during, and after. You write that at first your legs shook with uncertainty, your mind pleaded for relief. Yet by the end, your pulse steadied, your thoughts aligned, and a quiet confidence settled in your chest. When fear of effort arises, you revisit these entries. You don't just read ink on paper. You recall the lived experience of triumphing over discomfort. Those memories override the ancient lie that effort harms. They remind you that effort transforms. To bolster your resolve when the fear creeps back, you harness effort anchors, vivid physical or sensory cues that link a small act of effort to a positive outcome. It could be the scent of peppermint oil you inhale before a writing sprint, the feel of your feet on a cooled tile floor before stretching, or the sight of a vibrant post-it note reading grow in discomfort. Each time you perform the anchor cue, you simultaneously undertake a micro-effort. 1 paragraph, 1 push-up, 1 breath of deep focus. Over repeats. Your brain builds an automatic association. The anchor prompts effort, and effort delivers reward. Fear recedes as practice rewrites neural pathways. Fear of effort often hides behind a mask of perfectionism. You tell yourself, if I can't give 110%, why start at all? That black and white thinking paralyzes you. To dismantle it, you adopt imperfect action. You declare that every effort entry must be imperfect. Your first draft will be ragged. Your workout form will be sloppy. Your code may break. You give yourself explicit permission to be bad at first. The simple acknowledgement, my imperfection is part of the process, lightens the burden. You find that you can move forward without the need for ideal conditions. And that incremental refinement follows even the most jagged beginning. You also practice contrast visualization. Before you succumb to the fear of effort, you close your eyes and conjure two vivid images. One of you stuck in stasis, arms folded, mind racing, regret mounting, and another of you after completing the effort, heart racing with pride, posture upright, ready for the next challenge. You hold each image for a few heartbeats, feeling the emotional charge. That contrast primes your nervous system to crave the exhilaration that comes after effort, making the initial discomfort easier to bear. Sometimes, fear digs in with the whisper, "What if I fail?" You counter this by embracing failure interviews. After any breakdown, missed goal, botched workout, or buggy code, you immediately journal 3 questions. What exactly went wrong? What did I learn? What will I do differently next time? By treating failure as an illuminating interview rather than a final verdict, you strip fear of its power. You recognize that every setback contains a seed of understanding that, when nurtured, grows into greater competence. Challenge breeds community. When fear of effort intensifies, you lean on your effort circle, a small group of peers who share your goals and value growth through struggle. You meet weekly, virtually or in person, to share the toughest challenge you faced, how you confronted it, and what you learned. Listening to others' stories of overcoming fear of effort silences your internal monologue of doubt. You see that struggle is universal, that every person charts upward through discomfort, and that you're not alone on this climb. In your daily life, you introduce effort intervals. Much like interval training for your body, you work in short, intense bursts of effort on mentally demanding tasks, punctuated by brief recovery periods. For example, you write for 20 minutes, then breathe deeply for 2, then dive back in. By compartmentalizing effort into intervals, you prevent the fear of unlimited exertion from overwhelming you. You teach your mind and body to expect strain and embrace the rest that follows, making each next interval less intimidating. Fear of effort also disguises itself in emotional numbness, declaring that, "I don't care enough," or "it's not worth it." To counter that, you practice emotional calibration. During effort, you check in with yourself every 5 minutes, naming the emotion you're experiencing: frustration, boredom, determination, even exhilaration. You allow each feeling to pass through without judgment and anchor yourself in your breath. This mindfulness practice keeps you present in the discomfort, preventing emotional aversion from hijacking your progress. As you accumulate these practices, effort experiments, challenge ladder climbs, effort journals, imperfect actions, contrast visualizations, failure interviews, interval work, and emotional calibration, you notice that the fear of effort no longer looms large. Instead, effort becomes a compass pointing you toward growth. You feel muscle not just in your arms, but in your mind's resolve, a resilience that whispers, "Bring it on." Reflect on a recent triumph. That time you hammered out a difficult section of work, despite every impulse to quit. Remember the trembling in your hands that settled into steady determination, the racing heart that slowed into calm focus, and the glow of pride that followed. That glow isn't a reward reserved for a chosen few. It's a universal outcome of embracing effort. You carry that memory with you like a torch, illuminating the next dark corner of doubt. 6 months from today, you'll wake with a different relationship to effort. You'll seek it rather than shun it, knowing that each ounce of exertion compounds into greater capacity. You'll look back at today's fears as distant echoes, barely audible beneath the roar of your confidence. So today, you confront a specific high-effort challenge you've been dodging, perhaps that advanced skill you've avoided, a major project you've delayed, or a training goal you've postponed. You outline your first effort experiment, 5 minutes of deliberate focus or 10 reps just beyond your comfort zone. You identify your launch cue and set your micro-action. You call on your effort circle to witness your commitment. Then, at your chosen moment, you lean into the discomfort and move, one step, one rep, one word, knowing that every drop of effort is an investment in your unshakable strength. You will feel the ache. You will feel the breath catch. You will feel the muscle tremor, but you will persist. Because effort is not an obstacle. It is your superpower. And with each embrace of challenge, you hatch a new truth into your being, that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined, that you are, at your core, unstoppable. You've dismantled hesitation, refused comfort, honored integrity, and conquered the fear of effort, and now the final frontier. Your habits. They quietly steer your days, either reinforcing who you want to be or anchoring you to old patterns. It's time to look under the hood and call out the lies your habits tell you about who you are. You'll dismantle weak routines and stitch in powerful rituals that propel you forward, because your life isn't the product of goals you set. It's the sum of your repeated actions. Imagine your day as a railway network, each routine a track that trains your mind and body along a specific route. Some tracks lead to progress, early morning writing sprints, midday movement breaks, evening reflection. Others spiral into stagnation, endless scrolling, midnight snacking, procrastination loops. You can't carve a new path without first noticing which tracks you're riding, and then redirecting your train onto stronger rails. Begin with a simple audit. Pick 3 core areas: your morning, your work block, your evening wind down, and map out every habitual action you perform in each. Write them down in order: how you wake, what you do first, second, third, how you spend those crucial first hours, then list your routine after lunch, and your steps before sleep. Don't judge yet, just record. This habit map pulls back the curtain on autopilot, revealing what you actually do versus what you intend to do. Once your map is complete, highlight the habits aligned with your goals in green, those that boost your focus, energy, and growth. Circle the habits that betray your intentions in red, those that drain your time, dilute your focus, or derail your discipline. You'll likely spot patterns. Maybe you linger 2 hours in bed scrolling before getting up, or you check social media 3 times between tasks, or you snack mindlessly during evening TV. Each red habit represents a lie you've told yourself. I need this break. I deserve this treat. I can multitask. It's time to expose those lies. For each red habit, ask the clarifying question: what true need is this masking? If you reach for your phone immediately after waking, perhaps you're avoiding discomfort of alertness. Your brain craves a gentler transition. If you snack while watching TV, maybe you're seeking an emotional escape. Understanding the real craving behind a habit gives you leverage to satisfy it more productively. You don't merely remove the habit, you replace its function. Now, for each red habit, define a green replacement that addresses the same need in alignment with your goals. If you crave a gentle wake up, replace phone scrolling with a 2-minute intentional breathing or light stretch routine. If you seek emotional escape in snacking, swap chips for a 5-minute gratitude journal or a brisk walk. The key is matching the underlying need: transition, comfort, stimulation with a constructive action. To cement the swap, you deploy the habit trigger swap. For every red habit, identify its trigger, time of day, location, emotional state. Then you redesign the environment so that reaching for the red habit automatically reroutes to the green one, Place your journal next to your bed, hide your phone under a pillow, and put your gratitude notebook within arm's reach. Replace the snack bowl with a water bottle or a fruit bowl. The moment the trigger occurs, you're nudged toward the new path without conscious effort. Next, you build stacked rituals to weave these green habits into your existing routines. Habits are strongest when they piggyback off established behaviors. If you already brush your teeth every night, immediately follow that with one sentence in your gratitude journal. If you always settle into your work chair at 9 a.m., make your first act a 2-minute stretch or review of your top 3 priorities. By linking new habits to anchors already cemented in your day, you bypass the resistance of starting from scratch. But awareness and environment tweaks alone aren't enough. You need accountability and reflection. You create a habit tracker, a simple log, a calendar with check marks, or a digital app where you record every time you execute your green habits. You track consistency rather than perfection. If you miss 1 or 2 days, you don't spiral. You simply pick up the next day, marking your streak as reset, but your intent as unwavering. Watching your streak grow builds a cascade of reinforcement. Each check mark is proof of identity. I am someone who follows through. You then refine your approach weekly with a habit retrospective. Every Sunday, open your habit map and tracker. Celebrate the consistency of your wins, the mornings you rose for your micro routines, the work sessions you launched without delay, the evenings you honored your wind down. Then examine the misses. Where did you revert to red habits, and why? Was your breathing routine too long, too bland? Did your gratitude journal feel forced? Did you place the red habits trigger too close at hand? You adjust, shorten, spice up, reposition, or reframe. This iterative process sharpens your system until your green habits become as automatic as your breathing. To deepen your commitment, you enlist the support of habit allies, 3 peers who share your aspiration to transform one specific area. You form a mini accountability group, meeting briefly each morning via text or voice note to declare your intention. Today, I will do my micro stretch at 8 a.m. I will track my focused work sprints at 10 and 2. You each report back the same day. That shared pledge multiplies your resolve, turning solitary habit formation into a team effort. Recognize that some habits require gradual desensitization to discomfort. If your green habit involves a pronounced challenge, like a cold plunge or a half-hour meditation, you prepare with incremental exposure. You start with 30 seconds in slightly chilly water before stepping out, or 5 minutes of guided breathing. You scale up each day in small increments, respecting your threshold. This progressive habit exposure retrains your brain to view discomfort as manageable, gradually eroding the fear that once blocked you. Other habits hinge on emotional regulation. If you habitually react impulsively to stress, like snapping at a loved one or binge eating, you cultivate a quick emotional pause habit. You place a small note on your desk or fridge that reads, "Breathe." Each time an emotional trigger arises, you pause for 3 conscious breaths, recentering yourself before acting. That split-second habit prevents reactive red habits from derailing your day and buys you space to choose your green response. Your habit system also integrates reward calibration. Habits strengthen most when paired with immediate, appropriate rewards. When you complete a green habit, journal entry, micro-action, healthy meal, you follow it with a small, consistent reward, a single piece of dark chocolate, a brief 5-minute walk, or a favorite song. These micro-rewards train your brain to associate the habit with pleasure, not deprivation. Over time, the intrinsic satisfaction of the habit itself eclipses the need for external treats. You can also use habit pairing, to bootstrap new behaviors onto strong existing ones. Identify your 3 most reliable habits: morning coffee, evening tea, midday walk, and attach a new green habit to each. Maybe you take 3 deep breaths before your first coffee of the day, write 1 gratitude bullet with your evening tea, or review your top 3 priorities on your midday walk. Habit pairing leverages the gravitational pull of your strongest routines to pull new behaviors into orbit. As you reinforce these new habits, you regularly interrogate your language. You drop "I'll try" and replace it with "I will." You stop saying "I want to" and start saying "I choose to." Language matters because it shapes your self-story. Every time you express intent in firm, present tense language, you program your mind for action rather than negotiation. Over the coming weeks, you watch as your life reshapes itself. Days that once drifted through red routines now charge forward on green rails. You feel your energy stabilize, your focus sharpen, your confidence grow. The person you become is not someone with Herculean willpower, but someone who simply decided to redirect their daily actions and then reinforce those decisions relentlessly. 6 months from now, you'll glance at your calendar and see dozens of check marks for your core green habits, a living testament to your transformation. Your productivity will accelerate on autopilot, your health will glow from consistent care, and your evenings will provide rest rather than regret. That future you stepped onto this new track today, and every day since. So right now, pick 1 old habit to retire. Maybe it's the morning scroll, the mid-afternoon snack binge, or the evening binge watch. Identify its trigger, craft your green replacement, set up the environment, anchor it to a strong habit, declare it to your habit allies, and begin. When the trigger arises, execute your micro-action, track it, reward it, reflect on it, and iterate. Each deliberate choice shifts your identity from someone who drifts to someone who steers. And with each shift, you draw closer to the person you know you're meant to be: disciplined, purposeful, and unstoppable. You've excavated your habits, dismantled the weak routines, and built the green rails that carry you toward your goals. Yet, until this moment, you've been acting on behaviors rather than the person you intend to become. Today, everything changes. You decide who you want to be. Then you embody that identity, moment by moment, choice by choice. Because goals are destinations, but identity is the compass that guides every step. When you align your actions to your chosen self, you no longer hope for change. You become change. Imagine your life as a movie in which you are the protagonist. In every scene, you have lines, actions, and choices that reveal your character. If you've ever watched a film and rooted for the hero because of what they stood for, you know the power of identity. Your own life deserves that same narrative clarity, a clear declaration of who you are on day 1 before the first scene unfolds. So today, you script your character and step onto the set. Begin by closing your eyes and inviting your future self into your present mind. Picture them vividly. How do they stand? What energy do they exude? Perhaps they stand tall, shoulders square, eyes bright with purpose. Maybe they speak clearly, with conviction in every word. What habits are second nature to them? What choices do they make without hesitation? See them leaning into challenges, smiling through discomfort, handing back integrity to every difficult prompt. Feel the weight of their confidence in your chest. When you open your eyes, you grab a fresh sheet or open a blank digital note and write a single sentence at the top. I am. Then you complete that sentence with the identity you choose. Not I want to be and not I will one day be, but simply and firmly. I am someone who, for example, I am someone who shows up early and focused, or I am someone who embraces discomfort to grow, use present tense. Feel how those words resonate as you speak them aloud. That declaration is your identity anchor, the truth you will live by, starting now. With that anchor in place, you break down the I am statement into 3 key behaviors that embody your chosen self. If your declaration is, I am someone who shows up early and focused, and who your behaviors might be, arriving to your workspace 15 minutes before your due time, curating a 5-minute pre-work ritual, and beginning your first task without scanning email. If your identity is I am someone who embraces discomfort to grow, your behaviors might be scheduling a daily challenge ladder rung, logging your effort journal entry, and celebrating each moment of discomfort as data for growth. You write these 3 bullet points clearly beneath your declaration. Then you place this note where you can't miss it, on your bathroom mirror, your laptop cover, or as the home screen on your phone. Each time you glance at it, you reinforce your identity before you act. Over days, those words seep into your subconscious, guiding your choices without effort. Yet, identity without affirmation can feel hollow. So you build an I am ritual. You perform each morning and each evening. Upon waking, you stand tall, place your hands on your heart, and read your I am declaration aloud 3 times. Slowly, feeling each syllable, you let the words vibrate through your chest, instilling a sense of ownership. This is who you are. At night, before sleep, you repeat the ritual, reinforcing that identity in your subconscious mind as you drift off. These rituals anchor your day, aligning your mindset at its bookends. Next, you act in alignment immediately. You choose one small test as a first scene demonstration of your new self. If you declared, I am someone who shows up early, tomorrow you set your alarm 15 minutes earlier, place your feet on the floor, and step into your day. If you declared, I am someone who embraces discomfort, you pick a minor but challenging task, perhaps a cold stretch or a brief accountability call, and you schedule it within the next waking hour. That first scene is pivotal. It sets the tone for the entire storyline of your transformation. But identities aren't proven in single moments. They solidify through repetition. So you weave identity micro-actions into your routines. If your identity calls for early focus, you append a micro-action to existing habits. After coffee, you immediately launch into your top priority for 2 minutes. If your identity demands embracing discomfort, you integrate a brief challenge ladder rung after you finish lunch. Set by pairing identity actions with habitual anchors, you automate the embodiment of your chosen self. To hold yourself to this alignment, you establish an identity checkpoint twice daily. At midday and early evening, you pause and ask, am I living my I am statement right now? Which choices have aligned, and where did I slip back? You journal one aligned moment and one misaligned moment. You don't judge, you observe. Then you recommit. From this moment forward, I choose to act as the person I declared. That timely recalibration prevents drift and keeps you on the narrative path you wrote. Identity thrives in community. You share your I am declaration and 3 key behaviors with your accountability circle, your small network of peers or mentors. You explain what you're becoming and ask them to hold you to it. Perhaps you form a brief group chat where each day you post your chosen action alignment. First thing in the morning, that communal witness amplifies your resolve because you're not just living for yourself, you're living for the story you've shared. At the end of each week, you conduct an identity review. You revisit your declaration, your behaviors, and your checkpoint notes. You celebrate how many times you embodied your chosen self and reflect on the context of any misalignments. You ask, what obstacles hindered me? What support or environmental change will help me act in alignment more consistently next week? Will you adjust your strategies? Perhaps you move your evening ritual earlier or refine your micro actions. Ensuring your identity system evolves with your growth. Language is a powerful lever in identity work. You carefully prune your speech to reflect your new self. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be," and you start saying, "I'm." You replace "I'll try" with "I will." And you replace "I need to" with "I get to." These small verbal shifts rewire your brain's anticipatory patterns. Each time you speak in alignment, you reinforce the identity neural pathways you're cultivating. Stories solidify identity. As you progress, you begin crafting a becoming narrative, a concise summary of your journey so far. It might read, "I was once someone who feared discomfort, but now I embrace challenge. I used to hit snooze, but now I greet the day early. I used to let doubt dictate, but now I diffuse weak thoughts on the spot." You record this narrative in your journal, read it weekly, and refine it as new chapters emerge. This evolving story reminds you that identity transformation is dynamic, a living saga rather than a fixed destination. As you march forward, you amplify your identity with evidence collection. You maintain an identity log where you record at least one specific instance each day where you acted in perfect alignment. Over a month, that log becomes a tapestry of proof. Dozens of morning rituals, dozens of discomfort embraces, dozens of integrity choices. Reviewing that evidence floods you with confidence. You don't need speculative hope. You have lived examples of your chosen self in action. Challenges will arise. Days when you wake misaligned, when temptations claw at your commitments, when doubt whispers your old identity back into mind. In those moments, you return to your first scene. You replay the initial act of stepping into your chosen role, recalling the vivid clarity of your first demonstration. You perform that act again, set your alarm, speak your declaration, complete your micro-action, and you re-anchor your identity in practice. 6 months from today, imagine watching a montage of your own life. Morning rituals, micro-actions, identity checkpoints, celebrations. You'll see a transformation, not just in outcomes, but in how you move through the world. With the posture of your chosen self, the language of your chosen self, and the unwavering commitment of your chosen self. That future isn't some dream. It's the natural outcome of the identity infrastructure you build right now. So today, you write or revise your "I am" declaration. Choose it carefully. Speak it aloud until it rings true. Then identify 3 behaviors that embody that truth. Place your declaration and behaviors in view. Craft your "I am" ritual and schedule your first scene action in the next waking moment. Share your identity with your accountability circle. Set your checkpoint reminders and commit to the practice of alignment twice a day. You are no longer acting randomly or reacting to whims. You are an architect, designing and living your own story. With each choice you make in the coming days, you will step closer to the person you know you're meant to be. Your identity is not found, it's forged. And you begin forging it now, one intentional action at a time. You've rewritten the tracks of your habits, stepped into your chosen identity, and now you stand at a critical crossroads. How to build unstoppable momentum by stacking daily wins upon each other. Because transformation isn't a weekend sprint. It's a marathon of consistent victories, big and small, that compound into explosive growth. Today, you learn to harness the power of cumulative success by creating simple rituals that capture and celebrate every win, ensuring your progress never stalls and your confidence never wanes. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill, small at first, almost invisible, but gathering mass and speed with every rotation. Your daily wins are those individual flakes. Each one might seem insignificant alone, but when you link them together, they become an unstoppable force. The key is capturing every win, no matter how tiny, so you can leverage its energy to accelerate your next step. First, you establish a morning win list. Before you roll out of bed, you reach for your journal, placed on your nightstand the night before, and jot down 3 actions from yesterday that mattered. Maybe you completed your micro-action ritual. Maybe you diffused a weak thought on the spot. Or maybe you honored your evening reflection without scrolling late. You write each win in the present tense. I honored my evening ritual. I labeled and replaced doubt. I chose healthy food. Writing them first thing sets a triumphant tone for your day, reminding your mind that success is your default, not an exception. Next, you create a visual momentum tracker. This can be as simple as a wall calendar where you place a sticker for each day you execute your key habits, micro-action, morning ritual, identity checkpoint, or you use a habit tracker app that marks each completed habit with a green check. The moment you seal that win, you watch your streak grow. That chain of successes becomes sacred. You break it at your own risk because you know each break slows your momentum and chips away at your confidence. To electrify this process, you introduce a win zap, a brief, energizing ritual you perform immediately after tracking your wins. It could be a victory clap, a fist pump above your head, a quick hell yes out loud, or a 5-second dance. That zap injects a surge of dopamine into your system, reinforcing the feeling that victories, big or small, are exhilarating and worth pursuing again. Over time, your brain comes to crave the win zap as much as the accomplishment itself, creating a powerful positive feedback loop. But capturing wins isn't enough. You must consciously expand them into forward leap goals. Each evening during your nightly reflection, you review your morning win list, your visual momentum tracker, and you identify one momentum multiplier, a specific action you can take tomorrow that builds on today's wins. If you completed your morning micro-action consistently, your multiplier might be to extend it by 1 minute or link a second micro-action to it. If you mastered your identity checkpoint, your multiplier could be to share a brief insight with your accountability circle. That deliberate scaling ensures that success isn't static, but an ever-upward spiral. To shield your momentum from sabotage, you also incorporate momentum guardrails. You choose one key metric, perhaps days without missing a micro-action or number of consecutive identity checkpoints, and you define a protected threshold. If you see that threshold slipping, if your streak approaches 1 miss, you trigger a rapid response protocol. You pause, review the barrier that tripped you, adjust your habit environment, and recommit immediately. This guardrail prevents minor setbacks from cascading into major derailments. You don't run this process alone. Momentum thrives in community, so you engage your accountability circle in a brief daily momentum huddle. Via group chat or a quick virtual check-in, each member shares one win and one multiplier for the day. You celebrate together. You offer rapid suggestions for overcoming barriers, and you collectively shine light on each other's progress. That communal energy amplifies your individual wins, turning personal victories into group momentum. Recognizing the importance of rhythm, you design wave rituals that sync with natural energy cycles. You identify your peak focus periods, morning, midday, or evening, and you schedule high-impact wins during those windows, tackling the toughest task, writing your most creative content, or having the hardest conversation. You reserve lower energy slots for simpler wins, quick stretches, micro-journal entries, or small chores. Aligning wins with your energy waves ensures that each victory is not forced, but flows with your natural rhythm, preserving momentum rather than draining it. Often, momentum falters because wins feel too routine. To combat that, you introduce momentum surprises. Once a week, you embed an unexpected win into your day, a random act of kindness, a brief nature walk, an impromptu 5-minute creative sketch. These surprises inject novelty into your routine, jolting your dopamine system and reminding you that growth can be playful and spontaneous, not just regimented. You also track and celebrate compound wins, victories that build on multiple habits. For example, completing a productive work sprint, diffusing negative thoughts afterward, then wrapping up with a gratitude journal entry. When you complete all 3 in sequence, you grant yourself a larger celebration, perhaps a short break with your favorite tea or a 5-minute chat with a friend. These compound wins reward holistic alignment and emphasize the interconnectedness of your systems. In parallel, you cultivate momentum mindset mantras you repeat throughout the day. Today is my victory run. Every action builds my snowball. Success compounds in me. These simple affirmations, spoken softly in moments of choice, reinforce that winning is an act of identity, not just a byproduct of circumstances. They anchor your mindset to progress rather than perfection. To ensure long-term resilience, you weave momentum recovery rituals into your routine. Recognize that even the best snowballs can hit a patch of thin snow. When you sense your streak slowing, a day missed, a win unrecorded, you activate a recovery ritual, a brief self-audit to identify what changed, a quick recommitment statement, and a small but guaranteed micro-win to reignite the process. This recovery ensures your momentum system isn't brittle. It bends but doesn't break. As your days unfold, you'll find your momentum self-sustaining. Where you once grappled daily for each action, you'll now crave the familiar thrill of tracking wins, celebrating zaps, and sharing momentum huddles. The accumulation of these wins transforms your identity from "oh, I try" to "I win regularly," solidifying an unshakable belief in your capability. In the months ahead, that snowball of momentum becomes so massive that challenges you once feared, intensive projects, long-term habits, deep transformations, become achievable because the compound force of daily wins powers you through. You'll look back and realize the reason you advanced was never a sudden spark of inspiration, but the relentless stacking of small victories, each recorded, each celebrated, each leveraged for the next leap. So today, you set up your morning win list, your visual momentum tracker, and your wins app. You schedule your daily momentum huddle and choose your first momentum multiplier. You draft your momentum mindset mantras and commit to your wave rituals. And when tonight arrives, you'll tally your wins, celebrate every sticker, and prepare to stack tomorrow's successes on the ever-growing snowball of achievement. That snowball becomes you, unstoppable, ever accelerating, defined by the irresistible power of cumulative victory. You've built unstoppable momentum, stacking wins like a rolling avalanche of progress, and now it's time to fortify the grounds on which you stand. No matter how strong your habits, identity, and momentum become, your environment and community can either sustain your growth or undermine it in an instant. Today, you learn to cultivate a strong ecosystem around yourself. People, inputs, spaces, and systems that consistently reinforce your best self. So you never have to battle all of this alone. Imagine your life as a garden. You've sown seeds of new habits and identity. You've nurtured them with daily wins and lined your paths with the stones of momentum. But a garden left untended will quickly be overrun by weeds. Those weeds are the negative influences, The toxic relationships, the distracting noise, and the comfort traps that creep back into your life, if left unchallenged, they choke out your growth. So you become the vigilant gardener, clearing weeds, enriching soil, and welcoming only the sunlight and water that feed what you want to flourish. Begin with a people audit. You list the 10 people you interact with most: family, friends, and colleagues, mentors, or social groups. And you honestly assess the energy each one brings. Do they uplift you, challenge you, hold you to your commitments, or do they drain you, doubt you, distract you from your path? You draw a simple 2-column chart: growth allies and energy drainers. Don't judge anyone's worth. Simply identify whose presence consistently reinforces the person you're becoming. Those are your growth allies. Keep them close. Those who lean toward doubt, negativity, or complacency inhabit the energy drainers column. They're the weeds. And with your list in hand, you begin a gentle weeding process. You increase time and energy spent with growth allies, scheduling regular catch-ups, holding mini accountability sessions, or collaborating on shared goals. You invite them into your daily momentum huddle, or your integrity circle, amplifying the collective force of your ecosystem. With energy drainers, you set boundaries. You politely decline invitations that pull you off course. You limit conversations that veer into complaint or gossip. You appreciate their company in small doses, but you stop letting them occupy the fertile ground of your prime focus times. You're not cutting people out of your life. You're creating the space for your garden to thrive. Next, you audit your inputs: what you read, watch, listen to, and browse. You open your browser history, podcast queue, bookshelf, and social feeds. You ask, do these sources feed your growth or fuel your doubt? Does that news article plant seeds of distraction, or does it cultivate awareness? You categorize each source as nourishing or draining. Nourishing inputs are the podcasts that challenge your thinking, the books that expand your horizons, the articles that offer solutions. Draining inputs are the clickbait headlines, the doom scrolls, the social media spirals that leave you jittery or apathetic. Once categorized, you trim ruthlessly. You unsubscribe from newsletters that siphon your time. You unfollow accounts that stir comparison or despair. You replace your phone's home screen with apps that offer quick growth boosts, language learning tools, productivity timers, meditation guides. You curate a mini growth playlist of podcasts, audiobooks, and videos that align with your values and goals. You schedule one nourishing input per day, 10 minutes of reading, a single podcast episode, and you savor the learning rather than drowning in distraction. Your physical spaces deserve as much attention as your mind. You survey your home and workspace for distractions and energy drains. The overloaded coffee table, the half-built puzzle on the sideboard, the closet door ajar. You clear away clutter, leaving only the essentials. A tidy desk with your momentum tracker and WinZap tools. A minimalist nightstand with your journal and I am declaration. A kitchen counter stocked with healthy ingredients. You arrange your workout gear by the door and your running shoes at the foot of your bed. You create designated zones, a work area bathed in natural light, a relaxation corner with a comfortable chair, and a selection of growth-focused magazines. A kitchen space that invites intentional cooking. To deepen these environmental shifts, you introduce sensory cues. You choose a signature scent, perhaps peppermint or citrus, to diffuse in your workspace, signaling focus. You hang a framed poster of your I am declaration at eye level as you enter the room, greeting you like a reminder from your future self. You set ambient lighting that supports your circadian rhythm. Bright, cool lights in the morning for alertness. Warm, dim lights in the evening for calm. These sensory design choices surround you with quiet but powerful nudges toward your best behavior. Your digital spaces require equal cultivation. You install a website blocker that restricts access to draining sites during prime work hours. You organize your desktop with folders labeled Work, Learn, and Relax, each with relevant shortcuts. You set an auto-reply that informs email senders you only respond to emails at 2 set times per day, carving uninterrupted focus windows. Your phone's do not disturb schedule aligns with your micro-action rituals, ensuring no pings jar you from your momentum flow. Beyond physical and digital spaces, you establish supportive systems, regular structures that reinforce your ecosystem. You schedule a monthly garden maintenance day where you review your people and inputs audits, adjust boundaries, discover new growth allies, and test fresh nourishing sources. You hold quarterly harvest celebrations to savor the fruits of your efforts, a dinner with growth allies, a nature hike, or a personal retreat. You mark these events as sacred, just like your daily momentum huddle or weekly integrity inventory. You also plant seeds of inspiration by inviting guest voices into your garden. You book a monthly call with a mentor or thought leader who exemplifies the growth you seek, one who has overcome challenges, built systems, or cultivated an unbreakable mindset. Their stories water your resolve and introduce fresh perspectives. You take meticulous notes, distilling one actionable insight to plant in your own ecosystem. As you tend your garden, you notice a profound shift. The weeds that once threatened to overrun your space now struggle to sprout. The soil is richer, the plants stronger, and the light brighter. You walk through your days feeling supported by your environment, your growth allies, your nourishing inputs, your curated spaces, your disciplined systems. You no longer fight against isolation or distraction. You thrive in a cultivated ecosystem that magnifies your best self. 6 months from now, you'll glance at your life and see a vibrant garden. Relationships rooted in mutual growth, media and information sources that expand rather than drain you, spaces that charge your energy instead of sapping it. You'll experience fewer internal battles because the external world aligns with your values and goals. Growth becomes the natural outcome of the ecosystem you've intentionally designed. Today, you conduct your people audit and schedule boundary adjustments. You clear 2 draining inputs and subscribe to 2 new nourishing ones. You tidy 1 physical space, your desk or bedside table, removing an item that distracts and adding one that inspires. You update your digital blockers and designate your do not disturb windows. You set your next garden maintenance day in your calendar. And as you step back and admire your curated environment, you breathe deeply, knowing that you no longer grow in isolation, but within a thriving ecosystem that sustains every inch of your transformation. With this fortified garden, you're unstoppable. The roots of your habits run deep. Your identity stands firm. Your momentum rolls on. And the forces that once threatened to derail you now nourish your ascent. Your ecosystem is your greatest ally together. You cultivate a life that reflects your highest potential. You've cultivated an ecosystem that uplifts you, built momentum that propels you, embodied the person you chose to become. And now comes the final, lasting step, sustaining your growth every single day until it becomes as natural as breathing. Consistency isn't glitzy. It's the quiet drumbeat that turns isolated wins into a symphony of transformation. Today, you learn to weave your new habits, rituals, and identity so seamlessly into your daily life that they no longer feel like tasks, but simply how you live. Imagine a river carving its path through solid rock, not in a single mighty surge, but through relentless, ceaseless flow. Your progress is that river, each drop of effort, every moment of discipline, and each choice in alignment is water wearing away resistance, over months and years. You'll look back and recognize that the landscape of your life changed not through flash floods of motivation, but through the patient force of sustained current. May you begin by establishing anchor rituals, fixed points in your day that serve as bedrock for all your systems. Choose 3 touchstones, 1 at waking, 1 at midday, and 1 before sleep. Perhaps you start each morning with your I am ritual. Read your morning win list and do your micro action. At midday, you pause for your identity checkpoint and record any wins. Before sleep, you perform your mind audit or nightly reflection. By anchoring your key practices to unmovable times, you create reliable hinges on which your entire day swings. Next, you embed habit stacking deep into your anchor rituals. Each anchor becomes a launchpad for several micro actions you've refined. After your I am declaration, you immediately do your 2-minute writing burst. After your identity checkpoint, you diffuse any weak thoughts that linger. After your nightly reflection, you set tomorrow's momentum multiplier. These stacks link every element of your system: identity, thought management, micro actions, momentum, so they reinforce each other in a single flow, locking your habits together like interlocking gears. To guard against drift, you implement weekly calibration sessions. Every Sunday evening, you take 30 minutes to review your visual momentum tracker, your habit map, your identity log, and your momentum multipliers. You celebrate streaks, note any dips, and adjust for the coming week. Perhaps you refine a micro action, refresh your nourishing inputs, or tweak a sensory cue. This calibration keeps your system adaptive, preventing stagnation and ensuring that each element remains sharp, relevant, and engaging. Your next layer of reinforcement is monthly vision reviews. At the end of every month, you revisit your overall goals and the identity you declared. You ask, have my actions aligned with my vision? You reread your becoming narrative, add new milestones, and remove any aspirations that no longer resonate. You then craft one bold intention for the upcoming month, a growth frontier you wish to explore. That intention becomes the theme of your daily rituals and a focal multiplier for your momentum. This cyclical process of vision alignment protects you from creeping misalignment and keeps your growth trajectory steep. Community remains vital for sustained transformation. You continue your accountability huddles and integrity circles, but you also seed a growth mastermind once a quarter, an extended meeting with a small group of trusted peers to dive deeply into lessons learned, breakthroughs achieved, and obstacles ahead. These quarterly gatherings are your collective check-ins on progress, strategy, and inspiration. They become a charged space where new ideas spark and accountability intensifies, reminding you that the fastest way forward is together. To shield your progress from burnout, you introduce recovery weeks every 8 weeks. During a recovery week, you scale back the intensity of your micro actions by 50%. You maintain only one identity checkpoint and a simplified micro action ritual. But you preserve your anchor times. You focus on rest, reflection, and creative exploration. Reading for pleasure, practicing a hobby, or taking longer walks. This deliberate pause replenishes your energy, prevents exhaustion, and primes you for the next growth cycle with renewed vigor. Technology can either disrupt or sustain you. You integrate smart reminders into your calendar and habit tracking app, but keep them minimal. You avoid avalanche-style notifications. Instead, you rely on subtle prompts, a morning alarm with your purpose reminder as the label, a gentle chime at midday directing you to your identity checkpoint, an evening tone signaling your nightly reflection. These cues are part of your environment, not invasive interruptions. weaving seamlessly into your routine. Language shapes reality. So you refine your inner dialogue continuously. You eliminate conditional pronouns. Oh, I should, maybe, try, replacing them with definitive declarations. I will, I am, I choose. When you catch yourself slipping into old patterns of self-talk, you correct immediately. You name the phrase, swap it with your identity mantra, and feel the mental realignment. Over time, your internal narrative becomes a constant chorus of empowerment rather than a whisper of doubt. Even the most entrenched habits need variety to persist. You periodically introduce variation drills into your micro actions, shifting the focus slightly to engage fresh neural circuits. If your daily micro action is writing, you 1 week switch to sketching ideas or recording a brief audio note. If your momentum multiplier is waking early, you mix in a midday stretch challenge. These variations spark novelty, prevent habituation, and keep your system alive and responsive. As seasons change, so do your rhythms. You align your anchor rituals with natural cycles, longer outdoor workouts in summer, cozy indoor reflection sessions in winter, creative bursts during autumn's crisp energy. By syncing with nature's cadence, you tap into a deeper rhythm that sustains you beyond personal willpower, anchoring your efforts in the world's timeless patterns. Throughout all this, you guard against complacency with next-level commitments. Every 6 months, you set a higher bar, perhaps co-writing a book chapter, running a longer race, leading a workshop. You carve dedicated time for that commitment within your ecosystem, pulling in additional resources, mentors, courses, or peer support. These next-level commitments ensure that your trajectory remains upward, that you never plateau, and that your ecosystem evolves to meet new challenges. Finally, you celebrate your transformation with the ritualized milestones. When you hit a significant milestone, a year of consistency, a major identity shift, a stretch goal achieved, you mark it with a ceremony that resonates with you, a special meal, a reflective retreat, or a creative project that commemorates your journey. These ceremonies punctuate your timeline, honoring how far you've come and energizing you for the paths yet to travel. Every day, as you live your anchor rituals, stack your micro actions, track your wins, refine your identity, weed your ecosystem, and celebrate your momentum, you fortify a cycle of perpetual growth. In this cycle, success is automatic because you've designed it to be. You don't rely on heroic effort or fleeting motivation. You rely on a finely tuned system that reflects who you've chosen to be and supports every step you take. Your transformation isn't complete. It's ongoing. You are now the vigilant gardener, the patient river, the deliberate architect of your own life. And as long as you sustain these practices, anchor rituals, habit stacking, calibration sessions, community support, recovery weeks, smart cues, language mastery, variation drills, seasonal syncs, and milestone ceremonies, your growth will never stall. You will continue refining, evolving, and ascending, creating ever greater versions of yourself with each passing day. This is how you sustain growth, by embedding every tool, every ritual, every identity marker, and every safeguard into the fabric of your life. The groundwork is laid, the systems are humming, and the river of your progress flows unceasingly towards your highest potential. You've traveled through 13 transformative sections, from deleting your quitting self, owning your challenges, and forcing action, to silencing doubt, sculpting your habits, and embodying your chosen identity. You've learned to stack wins, cultivate a growth ecosystem, and sustain momentum through anchor rituals, calibration sessions, and recovery weeks. Each tool, ritual, and mindset shift wasn't a one-off task. but a thread woven into the tapestry of your daily life. Now, take a deep breath and let the magnitude of your progress settle in. You've done more than gain tactics. You've rewritten the narrative of who you are. You stand not at a finish line, but at the beginning of a new baseline, a self-defined by choice, resilience, and relentless growth. Wherever you go next, these systems and rituals will serve as both compass and engine, guiding your steps and powering your forward motion. Remember, transformation isn't a destination, it's a continual journey of refinement. Some days will feel effortless. Your river glides smoothly over polished stones. Other days will present fresh rapids, calling on your tools and rituals to navigate safely. But now you possess a complete map and an arsenal of proven strategies. You aren't alone. Your ecosystem of allies, your curated environment, and your internal identity support you every step of the way. Carry forward this knowing. Every small action compounds. Every choice echoes. Every moment of integrity builds character. And every victory, no matter how tiny, fuels exponential growth. You've mastered the art of sustainable transformation. Now live it every day, in every breath, and watch how the life you design unfolds in richer, more powerful ways than you ever imagined.